Oh, we're live now. Oh, good evening, everyone. And we aren't far from the next event, which is tomorrow night. I can't quite remember what its name is off the top of my head right now, but it's a big one. And how are you? My special guest, friend of Pandemus, esteemed member of the Chuckle Crew, Mr. Jack Bartley, your underground champion. How are you today, Jack, John, whatever I want to call you?
Magnificent, sir, magnificent. Just gearing up for Rumble in the Underground 2.
Rumble in the Underground, yes. How could I forget that? It's our anniversary show, and how could I forget that? It wouldn't be me. I wouldn't be me if I was getting something wrong or not doing something quite right. So it's very me to not remember something like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. As you say, our anniversary show.
Yeah. And what
year is?
Oh, definitely. Shall we? We'll talk about that. Tomorrow night's match. We'll talk about them in a bit. Shall we have a little discussion about what's happened? Just go over a few things. What's happened in the last year? The ups, we've had a lot of them. The downs, we've certainly had some of them, and everything that's went on in between. So, do you want to kick off and tell me give me your thoughts of the last year?
It's been an absolute roller coaster, as you say. Some amazing highs, some
definitely.
Some lows, both personal and collective, obviously.
Yeah.
As I say, personally, entering Rumble in the Underground 1, sneaking in the back door as an uninvited guest, an intruder, if you will.
Yes.
Rumble in the Underground 2. Rumble in the Underground 2.
Coming through the front door as champion.
Absolutely. What a ride.
Just keep an eye on the comments here as well. So that was to confront. Was it to confront Spike Braxton? Your first appearance, wasn't it? If I remember.
Well, actually, I confronted the audience. I was rather upset that despite devoting quite a lot of time and energy to entertaining them, they offered not one bit of protestation at the fact that James Barris had neglected to book Dear Jack on the inaugural show. So I appeared, had a bit of a dig at the audience, and Spike Braxton took exception to this and decided to lay me out like a cold buffet.
Yes, he did. And then, but you would get your revenge later in the year. Did you fight him? Was it Halloween or did it end up being Christmas when you ended up fighting him?
Well, Lost Souls to Cole Battle Royale, I eliminated Spike. And of course, earlier in the evening, he had a tag match with Drake Winter against Max Pooper and Young Morris. And I may have made an appearance and caused Spike to lose focus and chase me backstage.
Yes, that's a very Jack Bartley thing to do. And then, so. From what I remember, then you went into the Lost Souls of Cole, didn't you? But you were conned at the end, to put it sort of mildly.
Yes, indeed, absolutely. I went on to win, had the celebration, the amazing high, and the low of course, losing Little J. But yes, a magnificent high, and then had it cruelly ripped away and handed to Dustin Hart.
Yes, it was. I mean, I thought I was bad and for being daft and having a bad memory, doing daft things without realising what I'm doing. But James couldn't count, and he forgot how many men he entered into that Rumble. Yes. I mean, I've had my mathematical genius moments. Best 5 out of 7, if I remember.
Yes, that was the one.
Yes, and that man can't even. That man can't even count. I think was it 15, 20?
I think it was 19 in the end. It was 18 entered, and then Dustin came out and said there's supposed to be 19, so I'm just gonna hop in after the final whistle and score the winning goal. Very good.
And James, well, we all know what James is. But yes, and then Christmas comes along, and then, if I remember right, did you end up cutting Spike, sending him to the hospital? From what I remember.
Yes, I cracked him on his dome with a paint can. It was the
well,
Home Alone hardcore match.
yes. I mean, that to open him up, like it's not going to be too hard. See, from what I remember of Spike, he doesn't have much up there to sort of cushion the blow. Oh, whereas gentlemen like us, where we've got enough hair to cover the blow, he hasn't.
Yes, indeed.
But yes, even for us as well, even for Pandemus, it didn't start off well. I mean, if you remember, our first match was against Rob Bagwell, and his girlfriend decided to put herself in the match. Do you remember that?
I do indeed. It was meant to be a 2-on-1, and Summer Rae got involved, and it became a mixed tag match as such.
Yes, it was. And I unfortunately took a punt to the dome, which I wasn't very happy about. But that girl can punt like there's no other, and we didn't come out with a win. Then on Halloween, then there was the whole thing when we had the title shot, which in an alternate universe where I could be holding that on behalf of Pandemus, but no, Ronnie Thatcher beat us, tried to rip my arm off and shatter my arm, but you can't keep us down. It's the same with you. No one can keep you down. We got back up. And yes, we lost the first few matches, and everyone had written, going into the Christmas, everyone had written Pandemus off, and you said it yourself before, writing us off. That was a mistake, because I said, going into that match at Christmas, what I was going to do, and no one gave us a chance. And we went in, and you've even said it yourself, we went in and did what I said I was going to do. And at Christmas, that would have been the high for Pandemus when we won the tag team championships.
Absolutely. It was magnificent. Everything from the theatrical nature of your entrance to the arena, everything all the way through, magnificently orchestrated. Everything went to plan.
It was absolutely great. And with it being Christmas as well, in my hometown of all places, and that was an awesome night. When I was doing my entrance and I stepped up on the apron, I had that I can't remember what was the mask I had on again.
It was almost like a goat man mask, wasn't it? It had the big horns on top.
I kind of think of the name of that. Oh, what was it called? I cannot remember it. But anyway, I pulled that mask off, and at that moment, I had the audience in the palm of my hand. I've watched back footage of that on YouTube, and my people there to see me, and well, not just me, but the priests. But that was my moment, and what a moment it was. Unfortunately, it didn't last long, but the one thing, we made history. We were the inaugural tag team champs. No one can take that away from Pandemus. But it just seemed to be Christmas. Everyone had written Pandemus off. Big mistake, because I told everyone what was going to happen, and I did what I said was going to happen. But all the while, I was promising that that I had somebody dark, that I had somebody who was willing to come and join me, to fight for me, to fight for Pandemus. I think we both know at the moment who we're talking about.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Facebook user, there's no usernames coming up. Facebook user, Christmas entrance with spine tingling, has to be the best to date for Pandemus. Yes, whoever you are there, Facebook user, I don't know why I can't see your Facebook names, but yes, it was spine tingling. Everyone I've spoke to about that has said that was one of the best entrances they've seen. And with it being Christmas, we went out of our way to give that little bit more, to make sure that we gave our best for those 250 odd people, the best night. And yeah, I've watched it back and that was epic. And I'm not just saying that because I was involved in it, because I put it together. I'm not just saying it because that, but it was. If I was a fan, and I'm looking at this now from a fan's point of view, if I was a fan, I would have loved that too. So yeah. But anything you want to add?
Absolutely. Intimidation is a great tactic. Getting inside the opponent's head is magnificent. And doing that, making that grand entrance with all of your opponents standing in the ring, watching that entrance, it puts them on the back foot immediately. And it's magnificent.
And at that moment, I knew we had it at that moment. That crowd, we're both football fans here, so we both understand the term, the 12th man. And that night in Merton, that crowd were the 12th man for Pandemus that night.
Yes, absolutely, they were.
And it just seems ever since we got the tags and people were saying, why aren't you defending them? Why aren't you fighting? We wanted to be fighting champions. But Barris, for whatever reason, wouldn't put us in any matches, and he would have us just standing around watching this daft, stupid little tag team tournament going on when them tag teams could have been fighting for the gold instead of fighting each other for the #1 contendership. And for 3 months, 3 months, there was Easton Victory Club in January. There was Parkside Club, and we'll talk about that one in a minute. And there was Parkside Club in February when he wouldn't put us in a match. And to this day, I'm never getting an answer off that fat idiot why we never got a match in the run-up to Miners Mania. And at Miners Mania, we all saw what happened there when at the end of that night, when James, he formed the top tier that night and he thought he was bringing all the gold home. He thought the working class militia had gotten one over on Pandemus, but if he hadn't, because was it the referee's cock up after the militia pinned the priests? My brain is all muddled up and I struggle to remember things sometimes, but there was some kind of referee cock up.
See, as I recall, you're being far too modest here. As I recall, the referee's back was turned and you moved the legal priest out of the ring and put the illegal priest in his place. So when the working class militia made the pin, they pinned the illegal priest. And in the confusion, your priest rolled up the working class militia and got the win to retain your titles. You don't give yourself enough credit. You masterminded it spectacularly.
Yeah, and then, but yes, we would lose there. We would lose them a month later. And I'll be honest with you. I don't like the working class militia. I hate them. I cannot stand them. But they are down the line, when we are looking at this years down the line, the working class militia are a big part of the Pandemus story. Pandemus, and they can say what they want. I don't care. Pandemus is a big part of the working class militia's story.
Yes. Well, their story to capturing the gold was all about their pursuit of Pandemus
and they've been. And I'll put hand on heart, and I will say that they are tough, they're hard, they know what they want, and they'll go and they won't stop fighting. They're fighting champions. They're fighting men. Too tough, hard, and I'm gonna swear. So excuse me, language. They are two tough, hard bastards, basically.
Yes, absolutely.
We're gonna go back to February.
Yes.
Back to February. And we talked about the highs, winning belts, having great matches.
Yeah.
But that, in February, that meant nothing.
No.
Meant nothing at all. And it doesn't matter. Achievements, everything had to be put to one side. Rivalries put to one side. When we lost one of our own, and again, someone that I was not particularly friendly with in the ring, but we lost Mr. Carnage, and that just come as a shock. Valentine's Day, I think it was Valentine's Day, and that came as a shock to everybody when it was announced that we lost Mr. Carnage, Sean, and just what a surreal experience that was. I know I can still remember, and I can feel it now, what I was feeling the day I found that out. It doesn't matter what colour you are. When I say what colour, like red or blue, or whether you were elite, underground, a Chuckle Crew, Pandemus, top tier, it didn't really matter, because when that happens, that's when real life happens. It's we know as football fans, when something like that happens, you put everything to one side, and the rivalry is just, it means nothing. And I think that night, Parkside Club, it was a stone's throw from his house. And yeah, is anything you wanna add to that?
Yes. Very difficult evening for everybody.
Yeah.
I remember we had the 10 bell salute, obviously, immediately before the start of the show. And I was in the opening match against MK Ultra. So I vividly remember going backstage after the 10 bell salute and having to very, very quickly change and get ready to go back out. And
and then having to just coming out and being at ringside. I mean, you see it on WWE a lot. Down the years, we've seen on WWE, wrestler passes away. A perfect example, that's probably the example I would give straight away, probably off the top of my head, would be Owen Hart and Eddie Guerrero's the two that I'd come up with, and they're all on the entranceway in front of the big giant screen. And you see it on WWE, but you never think it's going to happen to you. It's one of them that, that'll never happen to me.
Yeah.
And yes, just real life is not like that. Like, and it happened to us. And we had that show, Colliery Carnage, which in the end being aptly named, to be honest with you, because of what happened obviously a few weeks before. And if you remember the poster for it, he was the centerpiece.
Yes.
On the poster, from what I remember.
Yes.
And it was a surreal night, and it's one I'll never forget. A few weeks before, I'd went to see Elf, Sean's partner, obviously wanting to know how she was. Well, I know how she was, but wanting to just make sure she was all right, just go on, like a shoulder to cry on, have a chat with, and she gave us, and I wore it. If you remember, I wore it. It was one of his training tops from the gym, Bruce's gym one. It wouldn't fit us. If I tried it on now, it wouldn't fit us now. I've piled the weight on since then, and I had that. She gave us that, and that was sort of wearing that was my dedication. Like I say, even though we weren't the best of friends in the ring, but when real life takes over, you put your colours to one side, you put your beliefs, your ideals to one side, and yeah, that was surreal.
Even in story, there is always room for humanity.
Yes. Rest in peace, big man. Rest in peace. I'm sure he'd be looking down on us, proud of where we've gone, how far we've come just in the last 6 months. We've even had a lot more downs since then. I'm trying to think where Miners Mania, that was a good night. Then what was after that? Yes, then we had Pits of Punishment. The less said about that, the better. And then we had, after that was Pits of Punishment.
We were the ones getting the punishment, it seemed.
Yes. Yes, the night we lost our belts, and as I've said, the working class militia don't like them, but they are two hard bastards. They are too hard working as well, because after we beat them at Christmas, I told them, I said to them, no way are you getting another shot at these belts again. You've lost them. You had your chance and you blew it. And then they went and fought their way all the way back through that little mini sort of tournament that James put together. And they fought their way back to #1 contendership. And I respect them for that. And I think that's in wrestling. If you don't like it, I've never really liked them, but I respect them. And that, as I say, they are a part of Pandemus history. And whenever we talk about Pandemus, like going down the years, when we year, 2 year, 3 year, and we're looking back, like retrospectively, they are a big part of the Pandemus story, and we are a big part of the working class militia story. And it was good. It was great. Going up against two tough blokes.
Oh yeah.
Even though I smashed more lamps over their heads than I care to remember.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You thought they'd be immune to concussions with the number of lamps they took to the dome.
Yes. And then I can remember at NCB what happened, and James still goes on about how he hit us in the nuts. It was a no holds barred match. No holds barred equals anything goes. Anything can happen.
Absolutely.
And he still goes on about that. Oh, he hit us in the nuts. The big nasty reverend hit me balls. Get over it, James. It happens.
That's it. Absolutely.
And as I said, going into that, and I was saying all along, and James never expected me to turn up to that.
No.
And all along, and you said it yourself, all I had to do was turn up and I'd won, because James wasn't expecting it. And James didn't know when I came through that curtain, James's arse dropped out. He didn't know what to do because he hadn't planned for me to turn up.
No.
And that event as well was the debut of one Jam Dog.
It was indeed, yes. He teamed with Slugger as an impromptu member of Top Tier to help them recapture the belts, or to help them hold the belts.
He wasn't Chuckle Crew at that point. If he'd have been Chuckle Crew at that, I wouldn't have been happy. I would have had a word in his shell if he'd been with the Chuckle Crew at that point. But no. And I remember thinking, who the hell is this guy coming out with was it Pringles he come out with?
Yes, it was.
With his Pringles. And I'm thinking, who the hell is this guy offering Pringles? I mean, but yes, he's a nice guy, and he chose not to stay with Top Tier and go with yourself.
Well, that's it. By that point, we'd had quite a few interactions. You know, we'd competed in a 6-man elimination scramble for the Glasgow Championship at Alba Championship Wrestling. We had competed in the Alba Championship Rumble, and then, of course, we competed in the Light and the Dark Championship Rumble. So we'd had a good few fights and developed a good working respect for each other. And, when I found myself in need of a tag partner, I don't know why the decision was made for the Pigeon and I to settle our differences in a tag match, but such as it was. So Miss Jinx said, "Don't worry, let me handle your tag team partner. Trust me, I've got this sorted." And it was a lovely surprise for myself.
And what an acquisition that was for the Chuckle Crew. I mean, it was when Jam Dog came along. You could probably say that was when you're looking back and talking about this, that was what the moment when the Chuckle Crew had always been. It was always a thing. It was always talked about, but it wasn't really at that point. It wasn't really a group. And when Jam Dog came along, that is when I would say that moment when Jam Dog came along, and that's what officially started the Chuckle Crew as we now know it to be today.
Yes, yes.
And when did that one? Did that one come at the Dorden show? Was it after NCB?
Yes, yeah.
I wasn't there at that one. I was away soul searching for that show. So I missed that one.
Cole Not Dole.
Pardon?
Cole Not Dole.
Cole Not Dole, yes. So that was the one where Dagon was fighting Bagwell.
Yes.
And that was Bagwell, if I remember rightly, Bagwell was trying his utmost best to try and get Dagon and Spawn. I think was he after Spawn as well? I think he was after the pair of them to get them away from me, to get them away from Pandemus. But at the end of the day, family will always stick together, and that is what we are. And Rob, it didn't work. It didn't work for Rob. He ended up looking a bit of a fool in the end because Dagon decided to stay where we both know that he belongs.
Absolutely, yes. As I said at the time, I don't, as much as I get on with Rob and, I've no issues with him, why would Dagon leave Pandemus where he is the figurehead? He is essentially the spear point for Pandemus. Yes. Why would he then go and be in a group with Dustin Hart and Rob Bagwell and play second fiddle, so to speak?
Yeah.
So
I
couldn't understand the logic.
Yes, that's what I'd said. I'd said that to Dagon at some point as well. But I think it was as well. Me and Spawn. When it all started, we never at the beginning we'd never gave Dagon a chance to sort of say I'm staying in Pandemus or going to CWO. And I think me and Spawn were sort of overthinking it, going out of our minds a little bit because of it. But we never really sat Dagon down to ask him what he wanted, what he was after. But we found out what Dagon was really after at Lampman Lockdown, and that Lampman Lockdown, we all know what happened at Lampman Lockdown. I'm looking at what's on your shoulder. How was that?
That was a moment. As I said, things get into your opponent's head, and at that show, Miss Jinx said, "I don't want you to come out as yourself. I want the privilege of introducing you as the contender for the heavyweight championship. I want to get everyone's attention, all eyes on you." And again, she pulled out absolute trumps, as she always does. The whole crowd, I asked them to be in full voice and to have my back, and that's exactly what they did. We mentioned the 12th man earlier on, and that's exactly what they were that evening. Absolutely magnificent. Can't thank them enough.
For you, that would have been, and I've heard you use this term before, a 316 moment.
Absolutely, yes. That was it. That was
316 moment.
Yes. And I think because so few people saw it coming. Yeah.
And I was out watching that match. That was just one of those matches that I have to say this is going to be a classic. I could just feel it. This was going to be something else. And I know there was bits of interference here and there.
Yeah.
Won't take that away from you.
No.
You put everything into that, and as you were going for that fourth lamp, it's like, when you're watching a film, like a sports film, and they're about to score the winning goal, and it just everything slows right down. And that was that for that moment. That was you going for that fourth lamp, and I'm thinking, and I'm watching that and saying in my mind now, he's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. And then it's sort of like going back to in a football analogy, sort of like it's like a penalty shootout. I'm stood like that with my hands over my eyes, but with my fingers open so I can sort of see what's going on.
Yes.
And I was going for that lamp, and yeah, and then honestly, if you could raise the roof off a place, that roof was practically off that night.
Yeah. Yeah,
that was
absolutely
amazing. It was spine tingling, and I mean, I've been in some good atmospheres of football matches, but that it was loud. It was everyone was on the edge of the seat as that was happening. As you were going for that, for that last lamp.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when you got it, and yeah, the mask I was wearing at Christmas, Krampus.
Krampus, that's the one. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I've just remembered. I've just come to us there. I don't know how it's come to us, but it just did. I've been running through my head. But yes, and when you got that, and what a moment that was, and
yeah,
not just Miss Jinx was with you, Jam Dog was there, and I'm purposely at the moment missing out one more person who you must have been overcome with emotion to have your little girl, the chief child, with you in that moment. I mean, has she ever told you what was going through her mind at that point?
She fully expected, I would be the gallant defeated. She said that herself, I didn't think you were going to win. And I said, well, thank you for your honesty. But she said, I'm really, really happy you did.
Great vote of confidence from your child.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I suppose by saying that, she's not setting us. She wasn't setting herself up to be let down, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
So if she just decided that she was adamant on you winning, and then you don't win, and she got upset, that wouldn't have sat really well with me, for me. Like so yeah. By saying that, I think she just didn't want to set herself up there to be upset.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, to do that in front of you there. Get your words out, Davey. I'm getting mixed up here. To do it in front of the chief child as well, that must have been awesome. And she's at an age, whereas my little boy, he's been to all the events. He watched us win the tag team championships and the matches I've been in. And I thought it was great, like knowing that he was there. But he's only 18 months old, so he'll not have any memory of this when he grows up. The chief child will. The chief child will always have this sort of in the back of her mind. And yeah, anything more you want to add? You want to talk about there?
Absolutely. I've always talked about moments. Again, in football, some managers are moments managers, where they wait for a moment to change a game.
Yes.
And if there's a moment that you will remember, or I will remember till my dying day, it's winning this in front of my little girl. And in front of well. Just absolutely incredible. Just a moment that I can replay in my head for the rest of my days. Just indescribable.
Yes, I can remember asking you a while back, a few weeks ago, seeing your football team win the Champions League or your moment at Lampman Lockdown, which would you take? I know what you answered. I remember what you answered as well. So which moments would you have took?
The moment at Lampman Lockdown, every single time.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. I'd be there. I'd be the same as well. Like I would love for my son to be when he's old enough to see. I mean, I'm not interested in pursuing like a full-time role in the ring. I'm happy just representing Dagon, representing Spawn, get in the ring now and again, but I'm happier looking after them, advocating for them, and making sure they get the right matches, make sure they get the right opportunities. But yeah, I don't mind stepping in the ring now and again, but. So the moments I'll have will be a lot different to the moments you have. There's different circumstances, but I guess a lot of the moments I'll end up having, I guess it will, like, most likely will. I'd be sort of living, doing it through Dagon.
Yes, living vicariously, as they say.
Yes, pretty much. A bit like Paul Heyman, like sort of how he's sort of achieved his goals through Brock Lesnar and who's Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns, yes.
So yeah, I'm not a patch on Paul Heyman. I mean, come on, that man he's an evil genius, Paul Heyman. But that's the sort of role I'm more happy with, sort of outside the ring, making sure they're all right.
Yeah.
And making sure they get the right opportunities. But Dagon, let's quick chat about Dagon. I mean, look how far he's come in the last. It's been what 6 months. He's went from dark matches to main event in 6 months, and I've never seen a rise like that in a professional wrestling organization.
No.
Probably. I've just said his name there. Probably since Brock Lesnar or Kurt Angle, who their first year in WWE, they were rapidly shot right up. I think Brock and Kurt. I think they had good title runs. Might not have been with the world title, but they definitely had good title runs. 9 months into their first year in WWE. So. Yeah. And everyone who thought about writing Dagon off and saying he'd be better off without me, and like people like Bagwell, oh, you'd be better in the CWO. Well, in the CWO, no, you said it yourself. He'd have been second fiddle. He wouldn't have gotten. This is in my opinion. He wouldn't have gotten an opportunity at the Light in the Dark Championship had he been in the CWO. Because one of them would have been in the pecking order before Dagon was. That's a fact. That is a pure fact. There's no two ways about it. He would have been. You said it. He would have been second fiddle to them.
See, I absolutely. There are two singles titles essentially that we can compete for: World Heavyweight and, of course, Light in the Dark. There are three members of CWO if Dagon joined them. So. Yeah. Who's basically told, sorry, you don't get a belt. You just have to kind of follow us around and clap.
Yeah,
so, no,
absolutely. Exactly. And I'll be honest with you. I respect them. I respect them both. Probably Dustin. I probably respect Dustin a little bit more. I've never really liked Bagwell after that. After his shenanigans at Rumble in the Underground 1. And I've never really liked him since. I've got respect from what he can do in the ring. I respect most guys who get in the ring because it's not an easy thing to do, and you've got to be tough. You've got to be hard to be able to do that, to put yourself through that as well. But I don't think I could see Robert Bagwell and Dagon being able to coexist. I couldn't see it, especially if Dagon had gold on his shoulder and he didn't.
It's one of those things. It's harder to see a friend be successful than it is to see an opponent be successful if you're not being successful yourself. Certain mindsets just would not be able to handle being the little brother, so to speak, being the one without the toys.
Yeah. And a good example of that was in WWE Evolution when Randy Orton won the world title.
Yep.
And Batista and Triple H turned on Randy Orton because at the time Triple H was just like a big baby. Orton had the title. Triple H wanted to be Billy Big Bollocks in Evolution, and because Randy Orton had went out and got the belt, Triple H went off and cried like a little baby.
Yep, absolutely.
And they kicked him out of the group. And there's another guy who had sort of rapid rise in WWE. I don't know what he did when he was in developmental, but he had quite a rapid rise in WWE. From what I remember. But Dagon has shot to the top, and there's only one way Dagon's going. Up, the ziggurat. Lickety split.
Absolutely.
Yes, and he's got this
Red Dwarf reference there.
Yes, I love Red Dwarf. And he's got the. Well, mate, so do you want to start? Do you want to go over the match? Like, do you want to talk about the matches tomorrow? We'll talk our opinion on the matches tomorrow. So I'll start off with your match. You were fighting that.
Yes, I'm going to be plucking a pigeon.
Yeah, that fested little rodent.
You know, if you want to ask the champ for a match, see if he'd got in touch with me and said, "Here, we're still 1-1. There's no clear winner. I'd like a shot at your title, and I think we can put this issue to bed." I would have said, yes, absolutely, no problem at all. Yeah. But no, he chose to defecate on me from a great height. So
we all know that he likes to defecate. I just hope, obviously it's not going to happen, I just wish you get him down on the deck, squat over him and curl one out right on his chest. Obviously that's not going to happen. That's wishful thinking, but, well...
He said it may well have done.
What's a dream? You haven't had a dream. You haven't had a dream come true. But there you go. Just give him a few slaps for me.
Oh, I will do, sir. I will do.
So yeah. You want in one now? You want all now, are you?
Yes, yeah. If we don't count the tag match, because technically Jam Dog and I pinned Ulfric. As I said, I hit my ROFL on the pigeon outside and left him laid out like a cold buffet. But yes, he wasn't involved in the decision, so we're still 1-1. Yes.
Yeah, and then Jam Dog's in a match as well. He's going up against in a triple threat against AJ. I don't know this guy. AJ Grimm and Blizzard. That is going to be one tough match. I don't know AJ Grimm, but Blizzard and Jam Dog, I've seen them two guys. They are two big guys.
Oh, yes. Well, I watched AJ Grimm's little video, the emo waster with the turkey baster. But, yes.
Where do people come up with these nicknames?
Well, that was me, but...
all right. Where'd you come up with these nicknames? He was
waving some weapon around and it just looked like a turkey baster. He was complaining about Blizzard and Jam Dog using weapons while waving around a weapon.
Yes.
Yes, that's kind of like turning up to the gates of the underworld and going, "Just one Cerberus, can I not fight two?" A rather silly man. But yes, I can see him going home with a nice Calvin Klein necklace.
Yes. Well, Jam Dog... I've seen firsthand. I've seen him fight firsthand. Jam Dog. Obviously, there was the tag match back at NCB, and then he fought against Tommy Diamond at their Peace Out. We'll talk about that shortly. We'll talk about that shortly. And yeah, a big guy, another big hard guy, big. And I mean, all you guys north of the border, you come from good working class roots. Come from a good hard work and you're just hard, tough, hard men. And Jam Dog looks like he can fight all day long. He will fight anyone that is put in front of him. He will always be ready to fight.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the reasons we're such good friends, is we both love a good scrap.
Yes. Same with Blizzard as well. We've seen what he's capable of. Again, the less said about one of his matches, the better. But yes, and then we've got the working class militia against the modern day mafia.
Now, see, everyone's been very unkind about the modern day mafia, but all I'll say is the only time I've seen them, they looked very nice in their nice purple outfits, and they were rather helpful.
That was it, Lampman. That was back in the night you won the belt, wasn't it?
Lampman Lockdown, yes.
Yes.
I believe in a previous event at GT Ministries, Chris Onyx had cost them the CCW tag team titles, I believe. So yes. A little bit of vengeance was exacted.
Yes. And as I've said, the working the working class militia, I've already spoke about them at length. But I think going into this match, again, it's going to be two hard blokes on one side, two big, hard, tough blokes on the other. And for me, I've never really seen the modern day Mafia too much. Obviously, I saw a little bit what they were capable of the night when they came to Lampman Lockdown.
Yes.
But on this one, what's your prediction?
Well, Uncle Ralph certainly set the working class militia straight and basically told them, you know, the energy that you put into pursuing Pandemus and capturing those belts, your fire's kind of dulled a little bit. You need to get that back, get that spark back, and lay these guys out. So I've
basically get a fire lit under them.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Now, modern day Mafia, they know what they're doing. They're coming into unfamiliar territory. It's I think the crowd may well get behind working class militia because at the end of the day, it's CCW against the outsiders. So I'm going to have to go with working class militia on this.
Yeah, that's a good shout. That like with the modern day Mafia, they're coming in, their backs are to the wall instantly. It's a hostile. It could potentially a hostile, a very hostile environment for them because nobody has really seen. Not many people in CCW has seen the modern day Mafia.
No.
So for me, if I was a bookmaker, I'd say the favourites are the working class militia, and that's most likely the working class militia there to retain the tag team championships. And then this will be a good one, the all elite match, not all elite wrestling obviously, but Ronnie versus Tommy Diamond. That's going to be another one too. Two hard, tough blokes. We've seen what Ronnie Thatcher is capable of.
Mm-hmm. My personal viewpoint on this is whoever wins, whoever loses, I think it actually makes no difference whatsoever. I think coming out of this match, the elite will be a force to be reckoned with again, because at the moment there's been sort of a divide for a little while now. Yeah. Tommy and Walker on one side and Ronnie on the other, and Colin McGregor trying to mediate the two. Now, once Tommy and Ronnie get this out of their system, whoever wins will then take their place at the top of the pile, and the other two will fall into line. If Tommy wins, I'm sure Ronnie will shake his hand and say, you know, you were the better man, let's move forward. And if Ronnie wins, I would like to think Tommy will do the same and say, you know, you were the better man, we move forward. So I think no matter who wins, the elite come out as the winners on this. That's a group. Never underestimate the elite. They might look as if they're on a bit of a downer at the moment, but they have Colin McGregor behind them, and he is one crafty. He's one crafty old fox, that man. Oh yes.
If he thinks the elite, or if he feels threatened, the elite's threatened, or backed into a corner, he will do anything to get out of that corner. And we've seen we've seen how crafty the elite can be.
Yes, a gentleman so cunning you could pin a tail on him and call him a weasel.
A Blackadder reference there, I believe.
Absolutely, yes.
yes. But yes, the elite, for all they might look at with the infighting, you could never say the elite are weak. They are anything but weak.
Absolutely.
But do you think that with everything what's going on with Ronnie as well, do you think this Nate Sawyer guy will have any effect on the outcome?
He may well do. He may well do. It just depends on his mindset. If he decides he's going to get involved, he will. Nobody's been able to stop him from doing exactly what he wants so far. So, and my other thought, Tommy Diamond has a lantern. So what's to say he beats Ronnie 1, 2, 3, then hands over his little lantern and takes that shiny Carnage title off him?
Oh, I never. Yeah, I never. Yeah, he's got the lamp behind. I never thought of him doing that. Do you think
absolutely.
That would be one way? If he did that, I think that would possibly put a dent in the elite's relationship with each other.
Yes, it'd definitely be a dent in that limousine anyway.
Yes. So I don't. If Tommy Diamond knows what's good for him and knows what's best for the elite, he won't cash it. He shouldn't cash in on Ronnie.
No.
So it's not what I would do. If I was trying to get harmony back, sort of harmony, and to get each other back on the same page and to be singing from the same hymn sheet. I think that would be a big mistake if he did that.
Absolutely. I think that's one thing there would be no coming back from in Ronnie's eye.
Yeah, I think that maybe not the end of the elite, but it would potentially be the end of Tommy in the elite, and it would could potentially be the end of the tag team between Tommy and Walker. It would obviously depend on what Walker was thinking or how he was feeling. Whether is he loyal to Tommy, is he loyal to the elite, or what? But I think that would spell real trouble coming Tommy Diamond's way if that happened.
It would certainly become very, very messy.
Yeah, I know for a fact that Colin McGregor would do anything to bring Tommy Diamond down if that happened. We all know how cunning, how devious, how sly, how manipulative Colin McGregor can actually be.
Oh yes, absolutely.
So I don't say that would be a good spanner in the works, but I don't see that happening. So looking at that, I think Tommy's got enough in him. He's a good fighter. He's got enough in him, I think, to turn Ronnie over.
They're very, very different styles. Very different styles. Ronnie's a brawler, an absolute brawler. And if he goes in there gung-ho, full tilt, all guns blazing, I think Tommy may struggle to live with him. But if he lets Tommy dictate, and Tommy dictates the match, I think he could be in a bit.
Yes, it's going to be a good match. Next then we've got Walker. He was supposed to go against Rob Bagwell.
Yeah.
But he's got a new. He issued an open challenge, and that I believe was answered by Craig Forsyth.
Yes, indeed.
So I don't know anything. I don't know this Craig Forsyth. Do you know him?
I do indeed. Yes, I encountered him at the Alba Championship Wrestling show. I was in the Rumble with him. I didn't get the opportunity to fight him too much, but very, very strong, very athletic as well. He's a heftier chap, but very, very athletic, very experienced too. More tricks up his sleeve than a magician.
Yes.
So Walker could be in for a bit of a rude awakening. And as my friend Jam said earlier, he could be in for a very long night.
Yes. And I know Mr. Wall Street isn't one of the nicest people in CCW, but again, with this Craig Forsyth coming in, no one's heard of him. That could be enough to get the crowd get them behind Walker, because they've seen Walker, they know who he is, they know what he's capable of, and this might sort of tip the scales in Walker's favour. It's another one who's coming in. They're going to be in a corner, the backs to the wall, coming into an environment they're not familiar with.
Craig Forsyth has toured the country. He's worked many, many different places. He's an instantly likable lad. I think the crowd. I'm not underestimating. Don't get me wrong. I'm not underestimating him or anything. But yeah, like it's when you go in somewhere you don't know. It's always, I don't know what to say. But when you go into a new place, you do your best to try and to get on with people, to be liked by people. I mean, I don't care about people's opinions.
of me. If you like us, you like us. If you don't like us, that's your problem, not mine.
Indeed, that's a you problem.
but yeah, I think Walker's got enough in him to do it. But again, this Craig Forsyth could just come in and snatch it.
Walker knows what he's about. He doesn't have to be nice because he knows how good he is. And he is exceptional. Exceptional. Again, very athletic for a bigger guy.
Yes.
And he comes across as arrogant, but when arrogance is coupled with ability, it's
he can
does
back
it
it up.
really count as arrogance anymore, or is it just
he can I'll give him that he can back it up. He can definitely back it up. But when we're talking about like history and how your history is going to be talked about, Walker of Wall Street, his history is like so entwined with Dagon.
Yes, absolutely.
They came through together.
Yep.
Appeared in their first dark match all the way up the card. Pardon?
Appeared in their first dark match together, as I recall.
Yes. Yeah, and when you talk about when we start looking back in years to come, we start looking back retrospectively, and you can't talk about Dagon without talking about Walker of Wall Street. You can't talk about Walker of Wall Street without talking about Dagon. Their histories are so intertwined.
Yep.
And I know for a fact there's a healthy sort of professional respect, certainly from Dagon's point of view.
Yeah.
For Walker, because they've been there, the blood, sweat, and tears with each other. But at the end of the day, Dagon is still the more. I think he's more technically gifted, more athletic. Walker's a bigger guy. If Walker can get you into a corner and stop beating you down, then there's no beating. There's no beating Walker. He is a big, tough, hard man. But Dagon is as well. We'll talk about that match in a minute. But I think Walker's got enough to go over and win that match.
I think with Walker, he's been preparing for Rob Bagwell.
Yeah.
And now the preparations are sort of out the window because Craig Forsyth's an unknown quantity.
Yeah.
So, again, it will depend on how much preparation Walker's able to do in the short time he has. If he goes in with the wrong game plan.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
Absolutely.
But with Walker, we all know what Walker's little equaliser can be. And wait for it.
Wait for it.
Wait for it. Yes.
Wait for it.
I think, Mr. Okay. Oh God, that man. Honestly, when you see the pair of them together straight away, Blackadder and Baldrick.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
Blackadder and Baldrick. Yes. But Baldrick never made Blackadder wait for it.
No, he didn't know. But yes, I think if Mr. OK is in good form, then I think he could be a big decider in the outcome of that match.
Yes, absolutely.
But we're going to have to wait for it and see what happens.
We'll have to wait for it and see.
Yes. Dustin Hart is going up against Maverick, another guy I don't know.
Saw him at GT Ministries.
Yeah.
Certainly plenty of dirty tricks.
Yes.
Again, a man who's very, very confident in his own abilities. I think we'll be in for a fantastic match.
Yeah.
But again, Dustin Hart, heart of the heritage, home crowd. I can't see past Dustin on this one, unfortunately.
I can't look further past Dustin on this one. Not keen on Dustin. He's not somebody I'll be sending a Christmas card to or popping out for a drink with or anything anytime soon.
I had my little bee in my bonnet with Dustin for a little while, but at the end of the day, we spoke immediately following his title win at Colony Christmas Carol, and he asked me one question, which kind of changed my perspective. He asked me on one of the Dudes Mania episodes, I believe. He asked me, "Would you have done the same thing?" And the answer was absolutely. Absolutely, I would. So I can't really be grumpy with him for doing exactly what I would have done in the same situation.
Yes. Or someone just saying there, Dustin v Maverick, all the promise to be a real banger. Wait, I'm not sure. I'm not sure who's saying. I'm not sure who's saying these. I'm not seeing any names. It's just coming up. Facebook user.
Yeah, I saw that. Yes.
Can you see the comments as well?
I can see the comment, but it's not telling me who it is. Just Facebook user.
Right.
Well, whoever you are, correct.
Yes. And finally, the main event, and this was gonna be a real banger as well. But Curtis versus Dagon was supposed to be Curtis versus Dagon, but Curtis, for reasons unknown, has had to pull out.
Yeah,
I'm assuming personal reasons.
Yeah,
but he's had to pull out, and has he relinquished the title?
Yes, I believe he has. The statement that I saw earlier on certainly said that he'd handed the belt back. So it looks like this match will be for a vacant title.
Yes,
so whoever wins,
we don't know who it is yet. No. But I'm just gonna what I'm gonna say now. I think you watched my live last week when Curtis came, when I was having a chat with Curtis, and there was just one moment I looked. Obviously, we can't literally see each other. There's one moment when I looked right into his eyes through that computer screen. Through my phone screen, and I saw fear in that man's eyes. When I mentioned, just merely mentioning when Dagon getting him in the Hell's Gate, when Dagon squeezing down and throttling the life out of him, in that moment, I saw fear in Curtis's eyes, and I knew at that point that we've won. There's no two ways about it, and I don't care what anyone says. Oh, Curtis, he's plucky, he's agile, he'd be able to do this and that. Doesn't matter. I saw the moment when I knew we were going to win, and I'm sure you saw it too.
Yes, absolutely. And there were two moments in that interaction between yourself and Curtis.
Yes.
I thought were the defining moments. The first was, as you say, and the second was when he threatened Spawn.
Yes, that was a
said that. I said, "Well, you've just signed your own damnation, sir." That was very silly. Yes,
that was the wrong move to make. That was a big mistake, because it doesn't matter whether you're an angel. Doesn't matter whether you're a fallen angel from hell.
No,
a man will always and will do anything to protect his offspring, his spawn. And you'd be the same. You'd be the same if someone had made a threat towards the chief child, and you would. Yep. That would be the biggest mistake. If anyone threatened your child, did anything, it would be the biggest mistake they'd ever made. And you would make sure that you went out and made their life a living hell just for doing that.
Yes, gloves are off.
Yes, and it was at that moment. And I'm a miserable old scrot. I don't laugh or smile very often, but when he said that, when he threatened Spawn, I could just feel that smile coming across my face, and just saying under my breath to myself, "Big mistake. You went and done it now for yourself."
Yeah,
that was the worst thing he could have done, and I don't know what's going on with Curtis, but yes, he was absolutely crapping himself by the time he went off that live. I could see fear in his eyes.
Yeah, and I hate to use a footballing analogy yet again, but the moment he mentions Spawn, it's similar to a manager taking a newspaper article where one of the opposing team has slaughtered them, called them useless, all the names, and he takes that and puts it in the dressing room wall and says, that's all the team talk I need.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, as you said, he signed his death warrant just by threatening Spawn.
Yeah. And that's
because
it.
believe me, Dagon is absolutely. He was barking. I've never seen Dagon so angry. He was barking mad. He wanted to rip his throat out. He wanted to kill him, which I'm sure you'll understand. I'd be the same.
Yes.
If someone threatened my little boy,
100%.
You'll go through hell and anything. For your children.
Yes.
And him, I'm guessing he doesn't have children, so he won't understand the gravity of what he said.
No, it's impossible to explain to someone who doesn't have a child of their own.
Yes,
but,
yes,
absolutely.
Yes, I mean, when my little one was born, it's when you have a child. And another one of my friends said this to us: "I've never felt love like it. It's the most purest, the most powerful form of love you can have as a parent, between a parent and a child."
Absolutely, yeah.
And but yes, so we don't know who Dagon's facing now. Again, it's exactly the same as what you were saying. For Craig Forsyth, Dagon has prepared for Curtis.
Yeah,
he was ready to rip Curtis's head off.
Yeah,
but now he's got to try and mentally get an idea, mentally try and he's having to train. Sorry, he's having to train to effectively face an invisible man. That's how he's having to prepare at the moment.
Yes,
but it doesn't matter who James brings in, who anyone brings in. It doesn't matter. Dagon is ready. Dagon is absolutely ready to go, and he's ready to take that light in the dark championship. Dagon is the true light in the dark. We've known that for months. Yes. And you've said it before as well. You have told me before as well that he is the true light in the dark.
Yes, it's as if it was named for him, essentially.
Yes. But yeah, Curtis, if you're watching this, just come out and admit it, Curtis. You were unscared. Nobody will think any worse of you, Curtis, if you just come out and tell the truth. There's no shame in backing down from a fight. There's no shame in that at all.
No.
There's no shame in saying you're scared. There's no shame in saying you're frightened. We all know you were going in this outmatched, and you were never going to win. So if you know what's good for you, Curtis, just come out and say that. I won't, and I'm sure you won't. You won't think any less of him either, because I think it takes as much of a man to say, yes, I am not ready for this fight, than to go into the fight and get absolutely battered.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yes. And there's no shame in that. If you're watching, Curtis, there's no shame in that. I wouldn't blame you if you came out and said, yes, I don't want to face Dagon. Dagon is going to be too much of a challenge. But at the end of the day, Curtis, if and when you come back, Curtis, Dagon's going to be gunning for you. Dagon is coming after you. So believe that, Curtis. You prepare yourself, Curtis, because the day you come back, Dagon is going to destroy you. At the end, that's just the way it's going to be. But just come out and admit what has been going through your mind. You were scared. There's nothing wrong with that. Just admit it. At the end of the day, Dagon is the bigger man, the better fighter. Yes, I'm going to give you credit, Curtis. I'm going to give you a lot of credit. You walked in on your first night and you won the title. Not many people do that. it doesn't. 99% of the time, it doesn't happen. That night, you were the 1%, and that takes a lot of balls to do that. That's a big achievement. And then you went on to beat Belzy a month or so later. Yep. Again, that was a tough challenge. Sorry, Jack, yes. I'm just there. I'll get back to you in a second. And you beat Belzy, another tough challenge. And now you were supposed to be facing Dagon. And where are you? You've relinquished the title.
Yeah.
And I thought you were a fighter. But I guess I was wrong. At the end of the day, don't be scared to admit that you're frightened. I won't think any less of you. But going into this, whatever's going on, if you're having personal issues, Curtis, whatever, get yourself sorted, come back soon. But remember and bear this in mind when you do come back. Dagon will come after you. Absolutely. Anyway, sorry about that, Jack. Let's get back to our little chat here.
No problem.
Before we wrap up, is there anything you want to say before, like, make a point of before we wrap up?
Well, as I say, the main point I would make is, as you said, Dagon has prepared for Curtis. Yeah. Curtis isn't what he's getting. Well, wouldn't that be a turn up for the books if the unannounced opponent was in fact Curtis?
Yeah, that would be interesting.
But as I say, I'm sure the crowd will be behind Dagon regardless.
Yes.
And I'm sure they will take the roof off for him.
And he has just propelled himself from the moment he walked into CCW. And I believe it was back in January when he, I think it was back in January after one of the tag matches when he made his debut after one of the tag matches, if I remember rightly. And then didn't he have the dark match a month or two later? And just from that dark match,
at Fighter Strike in January. After Working Class Militia beat Onyx and Blizzard, I believe it was.
Yes. When he came out after the match to introduce himself, and that was another one I'd been talking up for weeks and weeks and weeks about the Dark Force coming, and everyone was taking the water out of us,
taking the proverbial.
Yes, he was there. Who is it? Who is it? You Dark Force. You're nothing. Pandemus. In fact, it wasn't even we weren't even Pandemus at that point. Once Dagon came in, that was when he sort of get. And I've said this to Dagon. He sort of become the glue. Him and Spawn, the glue. What's held Pandemus together over the last 6 months. Once he joined, it was just when it was Reverend David Doods and the Pandemic Priests, and he came in. He was the glue. What created Pandemus, and Pandemus owes its existence, I guess, to Dagon and Spawn.
Yep, absolutely. And it's in its present form and on its present course. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
The three of you together, yourself, Dagon, and Spawn, have turned Pandemus into a completely different force.
Yes, and I just think it's great. In the run up to Christmas last year, we were written off. And I can understand why people saw us as a bit of a joke in the run up to Christmas. I can understand why, because we'd taken some L's certainly, but in the run, and then we got the Christmas show, and we went all out. There was no way we were leaving Merton leaving the Glebe Centre without those tag team championships. It wasn't happening.
No, absolutely not. Nope.
And we made a statement that night, and we've made plenty of statements since, but we made our one big statement that night. So like that was the night. It was the night our breakout. So like our breakout moment when we broke out.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
That was sort of like I guess you could have called that like a 316 moment for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're not so much of a joke now, and look how far we've come. I mean, and we've done it in 6-7 months.
Yep, and absolutely.
And Dagon as well. Like how in 6-7 months, I mean, he was at the Genius. of the ring, the Genius of the Ring tournament, which you were at yourself.
Yes, I was, absolutely, yep.
Yes. And Dagon and Walker, give him credit, fought through 3 rounds, 3 matches in one day. And then they fought the pair of them fought like troopers, and that was the day, in my opinion, that was the day Dagon truly arrived in CCW.
Yep.
And
he defeated Dustin Hart.
Yeah, yes, he defeated Dustin Hart.
Anything more than that about him, that he defeated Dustin Hart.
Yes, and then he went on to fight Dustin again, and a few weeks later at Peace Out. And what a match that was! Yes, we didn't come out on top that time, but what a fight! What a fight! What a battle them two put on! It was absolutely, really, it was brutal, and that day I saw a moment between Dagon and Dustin, and that was sort of a moment when Dustin realised that Dagon does have the right to be in a ring with Dustin, because there's some people out there that they don't have a right being in a ring at all. Some people are just a joke in the ring, but Dagon, it was those two. There were 2 pivotal moments for Dagon. Was Genius of the Ring, and then although he didn't win at the Peace Out, they were his moments, and it's those moments what has give Dagon the opportunity where he's got now. I believe tomorrow night the matches are still the same. It's still going to be the same stipulation.
Still a 3 stages of hell match, yes, as far as I'm aware.
So I think Dagon, yes, he's planned for Curtis. But things have worked out differently. But I don't think Dagon. It's another one of them. Dagon's not coming away without that title.
I think whoever it is would have to do something absolutely drastic to get.
Yes. Again, he's 12th man.
Yep, that's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Yeah, he's got the 12th. He's got the 12th man behind him, and everyone in. Yeah, I'm just the thought of it makes us speechless, because I know how much I know personally what this means to Dagon, and we've prepared for this. We fought for this. We've prayed to whoever it is we pray to. We've prayed to Satan for this.
Yep.
And tomorrow night, it's the culmination of a lot of hard work, months and months of hard work.
Yeah.
And it all comes down to 2 out of 3, 3 stages of hell match tomorrow night. And right now, I can't see any result other than Dagon is coming away with it.
For someone to make Dagon submit, I just don't see that. I don't see that. So that one I can see Dagon having all day and night. Pinfall, maybe anybody's, but Dagon has shown at the Peace Out tournament that he can hang with the best in a hardcore environment. So whoever it is,
he can.
It's in for one hell of a match.
Yes, he is. And I would have liked it to have been Curtis, because that's what we've prepared for. But what will be at the end of the day. And it promises to be another good show. What are we on now? 13, 14 shows, every single one sold out.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like well done to the team behind the scenes who've made this possible.
Absolutely.
And I know I don't like giving James Barris credit for anything at all. I know what James Barris is like, but to promote 13 or 14 sellout shows, that's no easy doing at all.
No,
and to do it 13 or 14 times. CCW in terms of like percentage of capacity, CCW must be one of the highest in the country in terms of a percentage against the capacity of tickets what we're selling.
Yep, I would say it must be absolutely, definitely up there.
Yeah, I can't imagine, and I'm not taking away from other companies. Don't get us wrong. I'm not trying to piss on other companies or anything or shit on other companies. I'm sure they get good numbers as well, but I can't imagine there is one organisation in the area that is selling out 5 shows, 3 shows. Never mind 13, 14, 15, whatever. It's not happening. But we are, and all the signs point to that we're going to keep on doing it as well.
Yeah,
and that's a testament to the people who work behind the scenes to make this happen.
And of course, to our fans. I've always said we would be nowhere without the fans.
We'd be nothing without the fans.
Every single time.
Yeah.
And they cheer for us, or they boo the bad guys.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
So on that note, I'm just going to say one more thing. Tantum Satanis, Potest, Eudicaria. And I'm going to get off. We're going to wrap up now, John.
Absolutely.
But you take care, my friend.
The same to yourself. Enjoy tomorrow evening.
I will do, and the same to you as well. I hope you clip that little rodent's wings.
Oh yes,
so I definitely from a great height.
All I will be saying at the end of tomorrow evening is, I definitely did not eat this delicious, plump-breasted pigeon.
The Flanders pigeon murderer.
The Flanders pigeon murderer, indeed.
Right, good night, and I shall see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, sir.
Take care, my friend.
You too. Sleep well.